Okay. Hey, what's going on? Charles Austin here, and let's be fit forever. So, today, real quick, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to properly warm up before exercise. And I know this may sound like a simple topic, but it really is something that's super important, especially for those who are regularly hitting the gym, regularly training, regularly working out. Super important for your performance. And it is something that is commonly, uh, I guess, a little bit confusing based on bad information and just general lack of information, right? So I did want to go ahead and dispel some of the things that some of the myths about what you should and should not do related to warming up, and give you exactly the blueprint for what should you do right before you work out and get ready to train. All right, but before we jump into that, like always, make sure you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications on so that you're always up to date with the latest content here on the channel. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right on in, like I really like to do. Don't want to waste your time. Everybody has stuff to do, right? Um, let's first start out with what is a warm up, right? What is the purpose of it? Why should we even be doing a warm up, right? Um, so basically, when we say warm up, right, we're getting ready. Let's say you're getting ready to go to the gym, or you're already at the gym, or you're at home and you're getting ready to start your workout. What should I be doing, right? Well, we're talking about warming up. It basically helps your body prepare for activity, right? So generally, a warm up will kind of just gradually, warm up your muscular system, your cardiovascular system, and it does this by slowly raising your body temperature and increasing blood flow to your muscles. So um, it's almost like a car engine, right? So if you think about it on a cold day and you're starting up your car, well, that little engine dial, right? When it starts out on cold, it doesn't immediately just go straight to the middle. It takes a little time to gradually get to a point to where you say, okay, now everything throughout my car, my engine, everything's warm and lubricated with oil, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of the same scenario, right? So warming up also helps reduce muscle soreness and lessen your risk for injury, right? So what should I be doing, right? What should you do when you get ready to warm up? Okay, how do you do that? So, in general, okay, and different exercises can uh, require different types of warm ups. But if we're generally speaking, before you get ready to warm up, before you get ready to work out, you just kind of want to start focusing on like large muscles, right? A good example would be hamstrings. You could say your quads, your glutes, your back, etc. Right? So you kind of want to start out focusing on those big muscles. Okay, um, and then eventually you may want to get into doing some of the same movement patterns that you may actually be doing for today's workout. For example, if you know for a fact that you're getting ready to do squats and lots of leg work, well, it's probably a good idea to mimic some of those moves with your body weight, maybe some very very light resistance prior to doing the actual workout, so that your body and your brain, more importantly, knows exactly what's coming. Okay, so again, you may want to mimic the movement patterns of your chosen exercise, and as it says here, very low, slow pace, and then you want to gradually, okay, key word here, you want to gradually increase the speed and intensity. So it's the same thing like we said with using that car as a comparison. You don't necessarily get in the car, press the start button, drive, and go 100 miles an hour immediately, right? The best way is to get that car, turn it on, pull out of the driveway or the garage, start your day driving, and then later on, hey, if you got to rev it up, now you can get to that point, okay? So some other examples, like you might do a brisk walk. You also might run. You might mix in walking and running. For example, if you know you're getting ready for a lot of swimming, for example, you start by swimming, but maybe not at the intensity of the workout, okay? Some other examples would be like squats, right? That's a good example. of a good exercise to do. But before we get into all of the examples, let's talk about some more of these benefits, right? So again, we've already talked about, what is a warm up again? We're talking about gradually revving up your system by raising your body temperature and increasing blood flow to your muscles. Okay? Well, some of those benefits include increased flexibility, and this can make it easier to move, do your exercises exactly the way you need to do them. All right? So, one of the reasons why you want to mimic some of the exercises that you may be getting ready to do is so that those joints, those ligaments, all those areas, they're already ready. All right? They have a little bit of relaxation associated with them. We talked about it here again. If we go back to the definition here, increasing blood flow and warming up your body. All right. Well, if you think about it, heat helps relax muscles. It doesn't tighten them up. All right. So relaxed muscles perform better. Relaxed muscles resist injury a little bit better again, which brings me to my next benefit right here, lowering your risk for injury. Okay. So again, we don't want stiff, tight muscles when we're getting ready to train. And it doesn't matter if we're jogging, sprinting, powerlifting, lifting. It doesn't matter what the exercise is. We don't want stiff muscles. Okay, we want warm, pliable, flexible muscles. Okay, and we want those because again, it helps reduce your risk for injury. Okay, increase blood flow and oxygen. All right, think about just waking up out of the bed. There's not going to be a lot of blood flow to muscles. All right, you've been laying in the bed for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, whatever that number is, and you haven't been moving. Okay, so there's no reason for your body to be sending a lot of blood and nutrition to muscles because they're not doing much. Okay, so that's one of the other reasons that we need to have a good warm up to make sure that they're getting the blood flow and the oxygen they need. These two things here, blood, okay, oxygen, that's basically fuel for muscles. Okay, so if you want to go back to the car comparison, that's your gasoline. Okay, I don't know about you if we're talking about gasoline engines. I know electric cars are the new hotness, but I don't know about you. If it's an electric car, I don't know how far that car is going without electricity. If it's a gasoline engine, I don't know how far that car is going without gasoline. And the same thing can be said about your muscles. Without this blood and oxygen, okay, you're not going to be able to do anything. Okay, and if you do anything, it won't be done well. Okay, so again, this helps lead to improved performance. Again, better range of motion, and another good one here is possible less pain. Okay, now muscle soreness is part of training. It's going to happen. I will be making a video about that soon. We'll talk about how exercise should actually feel, but anytime you can reduce a little bit of pain and stiffness, it's a win. It makes the next workout that much easier. Okay, so these are just some of the many benefits of a proper warm-up. So you may see this title here, dynamic warm-up. And what this really means is you're just, again, kind of what we talked about before, just focusing on actions that are similar to what you're getting ready to do. Okay, so again, if you know you're going to work your upper body, do motions that mimic a lot of the moves that you're going to do with your upper body. Okay, we're going to pause on this one. We're going to get to this part in just a second. All right, but again, some of the good exercises to do before a workout. Squats is like almost always a winner. Just if you look at the exercise, it's a compound movement, right? So you're involving your quads, your hamstring, your glutes, your core, your abs, your back. So many muscles getting involved. Great for getting that heart pumping and circulating blood. Planks, and I actually love the way she's performing this exercise here because it's very low impact. And it's something that many of us can do. And it's a good way to prepare your body for exercise. So in this example, she's literally just dropping down to her knees here. And it's good for activating your lower back, activating your abdominal region, and also is helping to activate her calf muscles, her Achilles. And then also there's a little bit of tension in her shoulders, getting some blood flow there as well. So nice exercise there. Side lunges, I would probably do this one towards the end because this could kind of strain that groin region a little bit if you're not properly warmed up, but another good one. So again, as you can see, many of these exercises are exercises that you would do in a exercise routine, but we're kind of just starting, just getting the body moving just a little bit. Ooh, and I love this one. I don't think I've ever done a workout in my life. I don't think I've ever led a workout, taught a workout, trained a client where I didn't have them do shoulder circles. So I love shoulder circles. You can do big ones, small ones, whatever. So again, these are just some examples of warm-up exercises that you could do. Again, walking, jogging, you can walk up a few flights of stairs, whatever it is that's going to get your heart pumping, that's what you do. Now, putting my face back on the camera here real quick, just because I wanted to address something that I'm tired of addressing. And I say that kind of with a little bit of a smile, but I'm serious. One of the things that most people do before a workout, or before a competition, right? Let's say you're an athlete, right? And you're getting ready for a game or an event. Let's say, again, you're just a competitive athlete where you're getting ready to train for your biathlon, triathlon, marathon, whatever kind of thon it is, right? Or you're just going to the gym for a regular day of exercise. So commonly and so mistakenly, the first thing people do is they stretch. Okay. So we'll keep this simple. Don't /never /never ever / you should never even think about doing this before you work out or train or compete, and that's stretch. All right, let's talk about why real quick. What I wanted to do real quick is show that, well, actually, let's see if this works. I tried this earlier today. Let's see. Let's see if the same thing pulls up. Yes. Okay, so this is what bugs me, right? So I literally went on here and look at the question that I typed into the search engine. Should I stretch before I work out? And then you can see here where it says it says yes. I don't know how much more clear you can get about should I be stretching. And it says yes, but that's not the correct answer. Okay. So this is, again, I said when we first opened the video, lots of misinformation, if you will, bad information, lack of information on what people should do before they work out. And here's a perfect example. If you were somebody who just Googled something real quick, you would see how easy it is for the wrong information to come out. So again, the answer is no. This should be no. So let's talk about static stretching. All right. Most effective at the end of your workout. Okay. I could stop the video right there, but I'm not going to. All right. But most effective at the end of your workout. So also, if we go over here, where is this portion at? All right. A word about stretching again. So again, if stretching exercises are part of your workout routine, and just so you can see where I'm reading from, I go here a lot. All right. If stretching exercises is part of your routine, it's best to do them after a warm up. So if you are ever going to do it before you exercise, you should do it after you warm up. But I don't even suggest doing it then. Okay. But definitely in your cool down phase where your muscles, what does it say here? Your muscles are already warm. Okay. So stretching can improve flexibility and range of motion. And it can improve your performance in some activities, but there's really not a lot of evidence to show that it's going to be beneficial before a workout. So again, here's a good article I found here where somebody literally asked the doctor, they say, hey, should I stretch before exercise, right? So here it is. Should I stretch before or after my workout to prevent muscle injuries and soreness? I've gotten conflicting advice on this. This person and everybody else gets conflicting advice on this, okay? So I'm just going to read this kind of as it says here. the importance placed on stretching. Um, it says in recent expert opinion, it has moved away from static stretching before activity and towards gradual and active warm up period before exercise. Stretching a healthy muscle before exercise does not prevent injury or soreness. So, not a good idea, right? So, if you think about what it is, muscles are actually tiny bundles of fibers. In a typical exercise related muscle strain, these fibers develop microscopic tears. Okay, so theoretically, stretching before exercise should make the muscles more pliable and less likely to tear. Okay, but when studies have compared rates of injury and muscle soreness in people who stretch before exercise and those who don't, they have found little benefit to stretching, and in fact, some stretching could possibly lead to injury. Okay, and believe it or not, when you stretch, there's actually little tears that you do in your muscle fibers, just by stretching. Okay, so again, if you know that there's microscopic tears that happen in your muscle fibers when you stretch them, and you know you're getting ready to train and do more microscopic tears in your muscle, not the best combination. If you want to learn a little bit more on soft tissue injuries, check out my video on soft tissue injuries. I provided a link to that video in the comments, in the description of the video below. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up here with some more reasons why we should never stretch before we exercise. Where is it at? So yeah, stretching undermines your warm up, right? So if you're gonna stretch before a workout, you already need to warm up. Okay, and then I love the way they put this one here. If you think about it, you're doing a proper warm up. You're walking and you're jogging and you're moving. You're doing all these things, and now you say, "Well, let me stretch." Well, now what do you have to do? Well, you have to stop moving. All right, you have to stand in the same place. So now, guess what happens? Your body temperature, your heart rate, your breathing rate, all that stuff drops when you stop moving, and it kind of defeats the purpose of your warm up. So another reason not to stretch. We already talked about this, and we know that it doesn't really prevent injury. Okay, and matter of fact, like we said before, it could lead to more injuries. Okay, because those muscles are cold. As it says here, traditionally stretches like when people bend over and touch their toes often cause muscles to tighten rather than to relax. And again, that's because they're already stiff and they have no pliability. There's no warmth. There's no flexibility in those muscles, and they may actually lock up a little bit more if you're not properly warm when you're stretching. Okay, so again, stretches you should never do. Literally, if you can see in this image here, this is one of the worst stretches you could do. Where you put your leg up on something and you're trying to stretch your hamstring. Literally one of the worst stretches that you could do before an exercise. So that's the elevated hamstring stretch. We have the forward fold. This is just where you put your feet together and you touch your toes. Okay, all great stretches. Okay, but we're just talking about doing them when you're cold, and we're talking about doing them before you exercise, and we don't want to do that. Okay, isolated quad stretch. That's literally when you kind of grab your ankle and grab one foot at a time. And I did like this one because lots of times people do this one incorrectly and they stress out their knee. Lots of times people grab from the opposite side and they twist their knee. It's not my favorite stretch to do unless under the instruction of a professional. So those are some examples. Don't do these. Don't start out stretching your hamstrings before you work out, right? So again, more information about should I stretch before exercise? No, okay? It's not proven to help prevent injury, curb muscle soreness after exercise, or even improve your performance. All the information that's out says it actually makes your performance worse and actually could increase your risk for injury. So no, we don't need to do that, okay? And then last but not least, again, and the reason why I try to do this, y'all, is because look, we've been to several different sources here, and they're all saying the same thing. Okay, it must be something to it. All right. So as you can see here, recent studies caution people away from stretching before workouts, suggesting that it actually impedes your body's performance. So according to this research, and if you wanted to, we just click the link, y'all. This is how we back things up. These are peer-reviewed journals and studies. This is the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine, Science, and Sports that has done a peer-reviewed study on this, right? So again, if we go back and we complete that part here. All right, so it says, again, recent studies caution, so according to this research, runners run more slowly, jumpers jump less high, weightlifters lift more weakly by stretching before they exercise. Okay, so again, if you're still wondering whether or not I should stretch before I exercise, hopefully, well, there's no way you should still be wondering now that we've wrapped up this video. So again, let's go ahead and review real quick. Main thing here today is proper warm-up. Okay, so remember, best thing to do is to walk, do light jogging, brisk walking, squats. We talked about lunges. We talked about doing some push-ups, shoulder circles, right? Or again, just generally mimicking the movement patterns of your chosen exercise. It's one of the best ways to do it, okay? Don't stretch, and make sure that you do your stretching after you work out, okay? We want to do this to make sure that we're decreasing risk of injury, that we're increasing performance, and that we can actually enjoy that workout, right? We don't want to have injuries and poor performance, okay? So, and here's another quick one. How long should we work out? How long should we warm up? Give or take anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the type of activity. If you know you're going to be doing some super low intense exercise, maybe that 5 to 10 minute window is best for you. But if you know if it's a little bit more intense, maybe that 10 to 15 minute window might be a little bit better for you. Okay. All right. So let's do some Q&A. Remember, at the end of every stream, Q&A about this topic or any topic that you can think of. Okay. I never understand why do people. So some of my. Okay. So this is the second time this happened. But literally we'll get a text from somebody watching the stream. And I'm like, well, why not just put it in the stream instead of asking the question? But they must have missed this part because they literally were just asking, well, how long should I warm up? And again, to answer that question, in case you missed it, depends on the exercise, right? 5 to 15 minutes is a nice window of how long you should do your warm up. And if your exercise intensity is a little bit lower, maybe you stay towards the low end of that warm up time. But if you know for a fact that your exercise is going to be a little bit more intense, maybe that exercise bout's going to last a little bit longer. Maybe your warm up goes towards the high end, that 10 to 15 minute range. But it does depend on what you're doing, your fitness level. If you're a beginner, all those different things will play a role. Okay. Let's see. What if my volleyball coach makes the team stretch before we warmed up? Ooh, this is a tough one, right? Because you don't want to necessarily say, hey, coach, you don't know what you're doing, right? You don't want to do that. But I think in that kind of situation, maybe it is a good idea to say, hey, coach, did you know that actually we could probably be better at volleyball? We could be better athletes. We could be better as a team if we actually did our warm-ups before versus stretching, all right? And when you get ready to have that conversation, right, if you feel comfortable doing it, right, when you get ready to have that conversation, make sure you have some information to back it up. So maybe have a couple of articles on your phone, or maybe print some things out. Go old school and actually have some paper in hand and say, hey, coach, I love this team. I want to be great on this team. But one of the things I think maybe we should do more is warm up. And I tell you what, warm up before we actually do stretching. And I tell you, from a coach perspective, I've coached athletes before myself. Any good coach is always willing to listen to the guidance of another coach and listen to some suggestions from the players as well. So hopefully there's a coach that actually will listen. But for your own personal reasons, hey, If your entire team is stretching, maybe decrease your range of motion. Maybe make sure before the team starts stretching that you actually get your body loose for about 5 to 10 minutes, so that you're reducing your risk of injury as well. All right. Woohoo! Always good to hear that. So good. Hopefully that helped out. But yeah, I see it a lot too. I see it a lot among teams, youth teams, collegiate teams, high school teams, where the first thing they do is stretch, and I'm always cringing like, don't do that. All right, because the data is in. All right. Cool. Good questions today. I don't see any more. So listen, like I always say, if you check out this video and you notice later on that, hey, there was a question that I had and you didn't ask it, you can always drop a comment and I'll answer again. I also provided a link to my video on soft tissue injuries. So again, that's another good video to check out, especially if you're an athlete. Check out the video on soft tissue injuries where we break down ways to prevent those and how they happen, and it's actually what they are. Okay, so again, live streams every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and then I'll be back again on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Time as well. On Wednesday coming up, we're going to be talking about hypertension and exactly what it is. I think everybody hears that word. Hypertension means high blood pressure. Well, what is high blood pressure? All right, what is that? Okay, we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Until then, again, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications on.